how to achieve work-life balance, and is it even possible? This is a great question, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs get caught up on work-life balance. And the question is, is it possible? The answer is, it is in spurts, okay? Because life happens, okay? Sometimes our life is busy and sometimes it's not busy. So the end of last year, I had just bought a house and we were moving. I had a lot of stuff going on, okay? So my work-life balance was off for probably like 2 or 3 months while we were going through this transition. And then I kind of got things back on path. But I think the biggest question you have to ask yourself is, what does work-life balance look like for you? In this world of Instagram, and social media, we're always comparing ourselves to others and what seems to be working for others. And the thing is, we never know really what's going on behind the camera, behind the lens, okay? And for me, work-life balance is the ability to have options. Now, there are certain times in my work journey where I'm very busy and I am working long hours, okay? So for example, in August, I have my live event coming up and I'm probably gonna be very busy in July and August preparing for that. So what am I doing right now? I'm spending a lot of time creating and filming content here for YouTube so that when that busy time rolls around, I don't have to worry about my YouTube content running around in the back of my mind. I'm putting in the time and the effort now to get it done so that down the road, that doesn't suffocate me. Because that's what happens to a lot of people. And when they start thinking about work-life balance is they start getting overwhelmed by all the things they have to do, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you don't have a team and you're working by yourself. I've been there, okay? As a YouTuber, I was filming the content, I was editing the content, I was doing the thumbnails, I was doing everything under the sun, the email marketing, the website, I was doing everything, okay? So that can be a lot. And it can be very overwhelming. And if you get enough overwhelm, it can be paralyzing. So the biggest thing that you should do is you should take out a piece of paper and a pen and really ask yourself, what does work-life balance look like to you? So for me, it was, I wanted to get up in the morning and be able to just relax for like my first hour of the day. Okay, so when I wake up, and I don't like to get up early, okay? I am not a 4 a.m. get up before the sun kind of person, okay? It doesn't work with me health-wise. I've tried getting up early, and it always makes me get sick. So I've decided, for me, I try not to get out of bed before 7 a.m. if I don't have to. Okay, if I wake up, awesome, I'll get out of bed. But my alarm is set for 7 a.m. And on the weekends, it's set for 8 a.m. I let myself sleep in. Now, the great thing about this, and this for me is work-life balance, if I'm tired or I'm not feeling well, I can always wake up later. Okay, that's a great work-life balance. If I am tired, if I need extra sleep, I will allow myself to do that. Okay, so for me, that's part of my work-life balance, being like, I have this time when I get up, but I'm able to alter that depending on how I feel. Okay, so that's an example right there. So I get up and then I'll read a book or I'll hop on social media, and I usually do coffee, with my wife. We'll sit in we have this really nice parlor room that I love, and we'll just sit and have coffee, for an hour. The other day I went outside on my porch and I was watching, the hummingbirds. So I take an hour, first start of my day, to do nothing but kind of relax and kind of ease myself into the day. And then I usually go upstairs to my office and I'll start working, okay? And I'll write down, I have journals that I write in. I write in my goals that I'm working on. And then I kind of write out my top, 2 or 3 things that I need to get done today. And that's where I start. Then I'll work for maybe, 2 or 3 hours until like lunchtime. And then at lunch, I have lunch and I go for a walk. Okay, so my lunchtime can be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. It depends. I'm flexible. Maybe my wife wants to run into the garden store and go and get something. I might go to the garden store with her. Okay, so I'll take a break in the middle of the day. Or, my wife sometimes gets tired in the middle of the day and she likes to take a nap. So again, the flexibility of like, I don't feel great, I'm going to take a nap, or I'm going to take some time off. And then after that time, I'll go back to work. All right. And that is the typical day. And I try now to have a hard stop time of 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Although I do coaching sometimes in the evening with my clients. But for the most part, I'm trying to end my day by 5 p.m. Okay. And what does that mean? So it means on average, I'm working, 6 to 8 hours a day on my business. Okay. On average. Sometimes I'm working more. Depends on what I have going on. I try not to work on the weekends. Now I'm here filming today, and that's my choice. But I don't have to work on the weekends if I don't want to. And that, my friend, is work-life balance. It's choosing. It's the ability to choose what you want to do when you want to do it. Okay. Now we have to get work done. Okay, so if you keep choosing to not do work and you keep procrastinating, there's going to be a week where you're going to be like, crap, I'm overwhelmed because you've been pushing off all this work that needed to be done. So that's what I'm saying. There are peaks and plateaus. I'm in one of those spells right now where I feel like my work-life balance is going really, really well. Okay, I feel like I have a good balance of relaxation and a good balance of getting work done. Okay, and I've been doing really well at not working so much on the weekends, which I used to work 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day. As an entrepreneur, trust me, you could work all day, every day, and you will still have tons of work to do the next day because new stuff keeps coming up. So the importance of work-life balance is one, what do you want that to look like? Okay, what does your ideal day look like? What time do you wake up? What time do you start work? When do you eat? Do you go for a walk? Do you have time for exercise? When do you end work? Okay, what days do you not work at all? And I think that is super important for work-life balance, is being like, what days are non-negotiable? I'm not going to work. I absolutely 100% now do not work on Sundays. Absolutely not, okay? Fridays, I tend to work a half day, okay? Because I like to kind of get started with the weekend. It's a great day for us to go and run some errands. If I work on Saturdays, I'll usually do filming in the morning like I'm doing now. So I'll film for a couple hours and then I'll film from 10 to 12 and that's it. I'm done for the day. Okay, so if I do work on a Saturday, it's by choice because I actually like filming on Saturday mornings. And then I just film for a couple hours and then I'm done. All right, so for you, that might not work, okay? For me, it works great. But for you, maybe you have kids. I don't have kids. So maybe you have to carve out time in your schedule to have that work-life balance. You need to carve out time for your family. You need to carve out time to spend with your kids, okay? And that's what I do on the weekends more now, is I'm trying to be more intentional about the time I spend with my family. My niece plays soccer, so on Saturdays, I tend to go in the morning after I film. I tend to go watch my niece play soccer. And if she has an early game, guess what? I'm not filming. I'm going to watch my niece play soccer because in my work-life balance, now that I'm in my 40s, it's more important for me to spend that time with family versus working constantly. Okay, in my 20s, 20s and 30s, I definitely did the grind. Okay, I absolutely did. And now I'm pulling back because I've put in a lot of time and effort, which allows me to do that. But in terms of work-life balance, it's going to be different from anyone. So don't look to me for creating the perfect work-life balance, because what I value, which is my time, okay, what I value might be very different from what you value. Okay, maybe you only want to work 3 days a week. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'm going to work 12 hours, but it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Every day I'm going to work 12 hours straight, and then I'm going to have 4 days off. Okay, if that's your work-life balance, like some people would think that'd be crazy. You're going to work 12 hours? Yeah, but if I work, 36 hours in 3 days and then I have 4 days off, like that's the perfect work-life balance for me. And it could be, okay? I don't like that personally, but for you, that's what might work. And that's the importance about understanding work-life balance. And people are like, if you have a job you love, you don't need a break from it. You do. Trust me, I love what I do. But sometimes when I have a lot of stuff going on, you feel that exhaustion of burning the candle at both ends. You absolutely can get burnt out. It is a real thing. Don't let anyone tell you or judge you if you are feeling burnt out. They're like, well, you're just not working hard enough. It's like, no, you're burnt out because you are working too hard, but chances are you're burnt out because, one, you're not practicing work-life balance. You're not giving yourself a day off to recharge, okay? Everyone does need recharge time, all right? I'm an extrovert. I'm a high energy person. I don't need as much recharge time as my wife, who's more introverted, but I do get overwhelmed. I do get burnt out in times. And when that happens, I listen to my body and I take the breaks. I might take a day off. A good exercise that I do, my wife actually taught me this, is I'll get a piece of paper. If I'm feeling burnt out, I will write a list of everything that's making me feel like I'm burnt out. Why do I feel overwhelmed? Why do I feel so exhausted? And I'll write all these things. And a lot of them are like, I have to help my mom, or I have to do this, I'm working on this project and this project. And it might be a list of like a dozen things, like a dozen to-dos. And I look at that list and I say, what's most important right now? What can I throw away? Because a lot of times when we don't have work-life balance and we're feeling overwhelmed, it's because we're not saying no to enough things, and I'm a people pleaser myself. So I'm someone who's like, yes, I can help. Yes, I can do it. Yes, 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 yes. And it gets to a point where I've said yes too much that I'm like, crap, I need to start saying no. I need to start cutting some of this stuff out. Hey, you want to go out to dinner? No, I can't. I have this project I really, really have to finish. And again, that's maybe not the perfect work-life balance, but in that moment, I need to focus on the work to get my life back in balance. All right. So again, it's this ebbing and flowing thing, but you have to figure out what works best for you, not what works for me. Now, if you're someone who feels like you're doing everything yourself, all right, you're wearing all the hats in your business, you're feeling exhausted, you wish that you could offload some of this stuff onto someone else. Well, go watch this video over there. We're going to tell you what to do and how you can stop doing everything on your own.